In this video, you're going to learn how to claim your student debt refund the fastest way possible and without spending any money. In fact, I'm going to share a little known tip for how to be the first to know when your debt relief is available and how to automatically check for it. If you're watching this, you're probably already well informed, and I love my smart listeners, so I'm going to share a few tips and tricks and some little known facts today. Today, you're going to learn how to take advantage of getting your fair share of money back, even if you've already paid your loan already. Now, just for context, President Biden recently announced a three-part plan to help working and middle-class federal student loan borrowers transition back to regular payment as pandemic-related support expires. This plan includes loan forgiveness of up to $20,000. So this will be your step-by-step playbook on how to be one of the first to make your claim and get the highest possible refund amount. So let's dive right in, but first, if you find this helpful, I would love it if you smash that like button so others can find this and get the help they need as well. So just to be clear, the U.S. Department of Education will provide up to $20,000 in debt relief for Pell Grant recipients and up to $10,000 of debt relief for non-Pell Grant recipients. So in this guide, I'm going to share the two major parts of the Biden administration's student loan debt relief plan. Okay, part one, final extension of the student loan repayment pause. Now, you probably already know that they extended the federal repayment pause a number of times already. Because of this, no one with a federally held loan has had to pay a single dollar in repayment since President Biden took office. You got that right. This is totally retroactive, so your federal loan repayment is effectively on pause right now. In fact, the Biden administration will extend the pause a final time through the end of this year, so December 31st, 2022, but the payments will resume immediately in January 2023. So here's a big question you may be asking yourself right now. Do I need to do anything to extend my student loan pause through the end of this year? Nope, the extended pause will occur automatically. So that's the good news. Now let's get to the gooder news, as my nephew likes to say. Part two, providing targeted debt relief to low and middle class income families. So the gooder news is that you may be actually eligible for debt cancellation. As I mentioned before, borrowers are eligible for this relief if their individual income is less than $125,000 or $250,000 for a household. Now, if you're a public employee, there's an additional perk, something called the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. This program forgives your debt if you work for federal, local, state governments, nonprofits, and military, and also tribal. But here's the kicker. You only have until October 31st of this year, so October 31st, 2022, if you want to apply for this program. There's even a nifty ninja tool online to help guide you through, but be sure to act by October 31st before the program for the public employees comes to an end. I'll include info on the public service program in the show notes below. Otherwise, you can smash that subscribe button to get the latest announcements and further analysis on programs like this. Okay, so listen up. If you're not eligible for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program like most of us, I'm going to show you how to get either $10,000 or $20,000 of that federal student loan debt canceled step by step. Now remember, an online form will be available in early October on studentaid.gov website, so I'm going to show you what to do now and in the future to prepare for this. Action item number one. Check if you're eligible. So as I mentioned earlier, you're eligible for student loan debt relief if your annual federal income was below $125,000, individual married filing separately, or $250,000 married filing jointly or head of household in 2021 or 2020. So you'll get the $20,000 in debt relief if you receive the Pell Grant in college and meet the income threshold. You'll be eligible for up to $20,000 in debt relief. $10,000 in debt relief if you did not receive a Pell Grant in college and meet the income threshold. You'll be eligible for up to $10,000 in debt relief. Action item number two, set up and prepare your federal student aid account online. So here's what you can do right now to make sure you're ready and get the latest updates. Log into your account on studentaid.gov and make sure your contact info is up to date. If you don't have an account yet, you will have the option to create one. Make sure your loan servicer has your most current contact information so they can reach you. If you don't know who your servicer is, you can log in and see your servicer in your account dashboard. And action item number three, submit your loan application when it becomes available. Again, the application will be available online by early October 2022. So if you're on your studentaid.gov account, you will get updates on this page in an email when the application is available. You'll have until December 31st, 2023 to actually submit your application, so be sure to bookmark this page and check back regularly. Okay, so now that you've learned everything you need to check, register, and get the status of your debt relief, let's go through some burning questions you may have rapid fire style. Okay, can we get that college kid in here that likes to ask all those questions?
So how do I know if I ever received a federal Pell Grant?
So federal Pell Grants typically are awarded to undergrad students with low or moderate income. Most borrowers can log into studentaid.gov to see if they received a Pell Grant. The website displays information about the aid you received, including Pell Grants, on your account dashboard and under your My Aid pages. So when you apply for debt relief, they will make sure all borrowers who receive the Pell Grant receive the full benefit of up to $20,000 in relief if they meet the income requirements. The Department of Education has data on all borrowers who actually received the Pell Grant. If you received the Pell Grant prior to 1994, the information won't display in studentaid.gov, but you'll still receive the full benefit. That make sense?
So if I have a Pell Grant, do I actually need to do anything to get the full $20,000 in debt relief?
Yes, you just need to submit your application for debt relief. The Department of Education has a record of every student who has ever received a federal Pell Grant. When you submit your application, they'll actually check your records to determine if you have a Pell Grant, which will qualify you for up to $20,000 in debt relief. So you actually don't need to take any additional action to show them that you received a Pell Grant.
Do I still qualify for the full $20,000 in debt relief if I only receive just one Pell Grant?
Yes, as long as you receive at least one Pell Grant of any amount, you'll qualify for the additional $10,000 in debt relief. So this additional $10,000 will be applied to eligible loans such as undergraduate, graduate, and parent loans. So it doesn't matter if the Pell Grant was used for the same program of study or at the same school as your federal student loans.
What loans are eligible for student debt relief?
So that's the good news. Most federal student loans are eligible. So here's actually a quick rundown of the types of federal student loans with an outstanding balance as of June 30th, 2022 that are eligible for relief.
How do I know what kinds of federal loans I have?
You can identify your loan types by logging into studentaid.gov and selecting My Aid in the drop-down menu under your name. In the loan breakdown section, you'll see a list of each loan you receive. You'll also see the loans you paid off or consolidated into a new loan. If you expand the View Loans and select the View Loan Details arrow next to the loan, you'll see more detailed name for that particular loan.
Are defaulted loans available for debt relief?
Yep, defaulted loans are eligible for debt relief. If you have a remaining balance on your defaulted loan after relief is applied, consider getting or staying out of default through the something called the Fresh Start Initiative. It's a federal program that keeps defaulted loans out of collections.
Are private loans, like non-federal loans, available for debt relief?
No, private non-federal loans are not eligible for debt relief, unfortunately. So if you consolidated federal loans into a private loan, the consolidated private loan is not eligible for debt relief.
How will I know when the debt relief has been applied to my account?
So your loan servicer provider will notify you when the relief has been applied to your account with your details on how the relief was applied.
What happens if I still have a student debt balance after debt relief is applied?
Loan balances remaining after relief will be re-amortized, meaning they will actually recalculate your monthly payment based on your new balance, potentially reducing your monthly payment. So your loan servicer will communicate your new payment amount to you.
Do I have to be repaying my student loans to be eligible for debt relief?
Nope. Borrowers are eligible for debt relief regardless of whether they're in repayment, in school, in grace period, as long as they meet the income requirements and have eligible loans.
And if I have multiple student loans, can I pick which loans get the relief?
So the Department of Education will determine how relief gets applied to your loans automatically. Federal student aid will make this determination and provide the guidance to those loan servicers who will then process the relief.
So how will my relief be actually applied to my student loans?
So for borrowers with multiple loans, the Department of Education will apply the relief in the following order. First, the defaulted education-held loans, then the defaulted commercial FFEL program loans, followed by the non-defaulted direct loan program loans and FFEL program loans held by Department of Education, and then the Perkins loans held by the Education Department. So just a quick tip, if you have multiple loans in a program type like multiple direct loan program loans, they will apply the relief in the following order. So first, they're going to apply it to the relief. They're going to apply that relief to loans with the higher statutory interest rate. Then, if interest rates are the same, they'll apply it to the unsubsidized loans prior to the subsidized loans. If the interest rate and subsidy status are the same, they'll apply it to the most recent loan. If the interest rate, subsidy status, and disbursement date are the same, they're going to apply it to the loan with the lowest combined principal and interest balance.
Will my federal student debt relief be taxed?
One-time student loan debt relief will not be subject to federal income tax. State and local tax implications will vary.
How will I know if I automatically qualify for debt relief?
So if the Department of Education determines that you automatically qualify for debt relief, they'll send you an email and text message if you sign up for those text alerts on the site. So you don't have to take any particular action. They will also provide your information to your loan servicer to process that relief for you. So once the online application becomes available in just the next few weeks, the scammers and fraudsters are going to be all over this. So just like anything else that's too good to be true, pay careful attention and just use common sense. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how to protect yourself and your family. But first, let's start with what some of these scammers might actually sound like. Here's a quick video on that.
Suspension of student loan repayment ends soon. Contact student assistance at 1-866-555.
Please provide your FSA ID. We can help with credit correction.
Immediate loan forgiveness, no credit check, and loan.
Pro tip number 1, you should never have to pay for help with your federal student aid. So you might be contacted by a company saying they will, help you with, loan discharge, forgiveness, cancellation, or debt relief for a fee. This most likely is a scammer. Again, you should never have to pay for help with your federal student aid. So make sure you only work with the Department of Education or its partners, and never reveal your personal information or account password to anyone. Department of Education emails to borrowers will come from noreply@studentaid.gov. Pro tip number 2, beware of certain buzzwords that scammers might try to use. A number of offers for student aid relief or help have circulated since the pandemic. You'll probably see buzzwords like, pandemic grant or Biden loan forgiveness. Just use common sense. If it sounds too good to be true, if someone is asking you for money, it's most likely a scam. And pro tip number 3, only use the official studentaid.gov website for checking or applying for your student aid status. Be sure to check your browser for the domain name studentaid.gov, and while you're at it, also check the security certificate. It should have a valid SSL security certificate. Okay. So if you made it this far, congratulations. You know more than most folks now on how to maximize the benefits of your student debt relief. If you found this to be helpful, be sure to like and subscribe to get more useful information on how to make smart financial decisions. And now that we're teetering on the brink of possibly a next major recession, be sure to watch this next video for set it and forget it, but little known strategy for how not to lose your shirt.